And we are live.
All right, welcome back to Tools and Tactics. We have a highly requested video for you guys. We're going to be bending some conduit. Now, this is half-inch EMT, and
I'm not telling you what we used to call EMT.
we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So to open this stuff up, get your razor knife, pop that open. Grab your first stick. Now, this isn't going to be a full tutorial, everything on how to bend. This is more of how to be more productive. So, for example, if we wanted a 90, we would typically you would lock this in wherever you wanted. You'd make your mark. And a lot of people put this on the floor and start bending it up.
Do you want to wait a minute and let some people get in here before you start bending stuff?
We could wait a minute.
Yeah, it would make a little more sense. Let people trickle in as they come through, and that way you have a good idea of what's going on.
Well, we're gonna wait about what, 5 or 6 minutes?
Sure. And that time, that'll give me a chance to set up what I brought to the table tonight, which is this little Arctic thing that goes around your neck and is supposed to keep you cool in the summer. And I thought we'd test it live. Thought we would test it live and see if it'll actually work. So while we're going through the live stream, I got a little cooler over here. I'm gonna put it in with a camera, so we have a constant view on it, and you guys can see it as a nice and pleasant 85 degrees in my garage right now.
So we can warm over here too.
Yeah, so we can keep track of it. So you want full screen me real quick?
I actually can't from here. Yeah.
So I have a little cooler that I picked up at the Dollar Tree today, which I think we legally have to change the name of it to the $1.25 tree now. So I am going to take this. I'm going to turn it on.
Is it started right now?
What's that?
Did the camera move? Do you want me to fix that full screen?
No, you're good. You're good. So
okay.
Anthonell Anderson is in the house. Thank you, Anthonell, for being here. We appreciate you greatly. I put Impact Nation Tools is in here. I am going to take my thermometer. I'm going to throw in there. I've got this thing on already. It's pretty quiet. It's actually, it does blow out some air.
That was not quiet.
Well, I did have to put it all the way up on the microphone. So I've got that.
Sounded like a sleeping bear.
Oh, well, was it a fat bear? That's my question.
Probably.
Then I got to take my little.
But there's only one kind.
I'm going to take my little camera. I'm going to make sure it's aimed right at the thermometer, so it looks good. Hard to tell. Looks like I need to take it down about just a touch. That's perfect.
We got Impact Nation. Love the last video, man, where you busted those nuts. Yeah, buddy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the info about the neck cooler and bending conduit demo. Hey, you're more than welcome. Thanks for coming.
All right, we're recording right now. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to put it in the cooler. You guys can see I am not playing around. We're going to seal it up. Well, it's not the only thing virgin about you. Speaking, which is funny because you got a couple of kids. She is sealed up. She's ready to go. So at the end of the live stream, we're going to take it out. We're going to take a look. Hopefully I didn't mess up the camera angle. And I'm just going to leave it there, talk over the top of it, because I'm tall. I can do that sort of thing. Well, look at that. He called me the Great One. Finally, somebody in here knows my nickname, the Great One. So we can put Robert back on the screen as we're going to just sit this right here. That way, nobody thinks we're playing around. If this works, great. If it doesn't work, great. We're going to find out. At least that way you are not going to go out there and waste $20, $30, whatever I paid for it. I never know these things. But
Yeah.
she is sealed up and she's ready to go. So it's just going to sit there.
So, yeah, let's get into it. This is all about being productive and not necessarily how to do every individual bend, but just how to do it more efficiently. And a lot of times, I'm getting a feedback on a microphone somewhere. Kind of. Is that you or is that me?
What's that?
Is that you or me? Feedback.
That's I'm not getting it. So it could be my fan, is because the cooler here, the fan that I've got going on over there. Let me just shut it off. The Great One and Only. That's me. Thank you, Anthonelle. I appreciate that. Here, I will shut off my fan and begun to slow cook myself.
At a cool 85 degrees in your garage.
I know. Well, fat man and 85 degrees just means a lot of sweat coming my way.
That sounds a lot better, actually. Thank you. All right, so yeah.
Uncle Fryer, that's probably true. The Rigid Tool's not known for being quiet. Oh my God, you can actually hear this thing in this cooler. I don't know if you guys, it's making like a vibrating noise.
I can hear that actually.
That's impressive. Jonathan Stewart Sherwood, great to have you here. Thank you very much for being here. Louis Castella, Castaneda. Not much. How you doing, Uncle Fryer? Always a pleasure to have you around. And the waffle too. What happened to the waffle one? That's what I want to know.
As long as there's blue waffles. All right. So this is a brand new bender. I don't know anything about it. This is the first 1/2-inch bender I've ever actually owned that I can say is mine, that I actually purchased with my own money. So, and it looks like maybe it's used and somebody returned it, but that's just how it goes because I did not put that red crayon there. But that's a typical thing to do for electricians, and it looks like maybe someone borrowed it. Maybe they're building the store with it and they just put it back on the shelf. Who knows? But we got to figure out what the deduct on this bender is because every bender is slightly different. So it says here your stub's 5 inches there, but
Yeah.
in order to be more productive, you got to know exactly what your bend is. Now, typically when you bend conduit, you would you put this on the floor, and then this part here you're supposed to stand on. But part of being productive is not taking that kind of time. So what we're going to do, we're just going to bend a quick overhand 90. We're going to get right there on the end so I can figure out what the actual deduct of this thing is. That's to the back of the arrow too. So we're going to figure this out.
It's not on frame. You weren't on frame when you did that, when you showed that.
When I showed.
Yeah, you were over to the side, off camera. Nope. All right, when you said the deduct, right?
Yeah.
You leaned it and it went off camera.
Right. Yeah, it's that arrow there. So we're just gonna figure out what it is just by bending a quick 90, just to figure out what's going on. And then you can pop it on the floor, or if you're on a scissor lift or whatever you're working on. I rarely ever came down from the ground when I was bending my conduit, so I would just stay on the scissor lift. And there's a trick to getting this level. So the first trick would be, once you got your 90 here, you can see that I did overbend it. We're going to sit on the table here.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the first tricks here is if we match the bubble.
Can you put him on full screen
Can
so
you see that
people can
bubble?
see this? Well, yeah, there you go. Perfect.
So can you see that bubble?
No. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Barely
Cool.
see it, but it is there.
So that bubble there, you can see that it's just barely hugging that left line there. So if we match this bubble to this, that'll make this 90. It doesn't matter how unlevel your scissor lift is, how unlevel, whatever platform you're working on. If you're working on something that's questionable, you just match your bubbles. And man, that's a good magnet. You can get a perfect 90 without too much trouble. So the back of this bender is flared out. You can see where it's wider. And that is so you can do this. Now I've lost a little bit of leverage because it's not as long, but you just go like that. And you can see we want to match that bubble.
Anthony Anderson, you are 100% correct in that. Hi, Jeremy Nguyen. Nice to have you here. Thanks for showing up.
We spent that quite a bit there.
That's what I like about you. You're always willing to play with the pipe on the camera.
Yeah, there you go. So that's the next trick, right? You get it close. Start with your next bend, or if that's your final bend, then you want to perfect it. But we're close enough to where we can start with our next bend, and we can kind of perfect this as we go. If it looks level, so a lot of your installs, you're matching whatever the surroundings are. Yeah. So if you're following a brick line or something, you may not want it level. You want to kind of follow whatever lines are there, so everything looks the same, and you might end up putting 3 more degrees or 3 less degrees into the box to get it all looking uniform. It just depends what you're doing. So yeah, that would be the first tip, would be overhand bending and then matching your level platform to match your bubble on whatever your bend is.
That's right.
Yeah. So the other thing is, you'll notice that electricians have a lot of levels, and that's because we do things like kicks and offsets and different bends like that. So a kick would be if you have a 90 already and you want this to come up to land into a box. So we're going to bring this up with a kick right now, and we're just going to say a 3-inch kick is what we want. So this is how you do a 3-inch kick. And I'm going to try and do this on the table with minimal leverage.
Anthonel, double entendres are always welcome and appreciated. Jeremy Nguyen, I am living the dream. Hope you're doing the same.
So what you're going to do, probably looks better like that, yeah. Put your level there. And you're pretty much, so you can see that we've lost a little bit of, you can stick your finger almost underneath there.
Mm-hmm.
So you want this level to be level like that. That way you're matching your take up that you pulled that up. So when you pull this up, it'll be completely level. So what you're going to do, usually you would stand on this, but we're just going to try to He-man it. And we're going to just give it a little bit like that. And what we're doing, we're measuring from the floor down to the bottom of our pipe, depending on where you measured, right? So that's the next thing when you're measuring. When you're measuring here, up a little bit or a lot. Yeah. So that lock ring out of there. So.
All right. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm just enthralled by what you're doing.
When you're measuring here.
I have a question for Anthony while we're here waiting for you to do this.
Go ahead.
I want to know if he just comes to YouTube to watch people in the free world.
So,
there you go.
when you measure, you're measuring from, if this was a back-to-back 90 or whatever you're measuring, you're going to measure from this side of the pipe to this side of the pipe on the other box. You always measure from the same side that you finished from. So in this case, with this box on the floor or whatever we're doing, we know that we've already lost roughly about 1/4 of an inch because the box, it's up 1/4 of an inch. So you got to take that into account, but also you want to measure from the bottom of this pipe, just like we're measuring, or the bottom of that connector, just like we're measuring to. This camera's killing me.
We follow you.
I get it. Zoom in on this thing all the way. So what do we have there? We're sitting about 2 inches right now. Let's give it a little bit more. And width at level, 2 3/4. That's in frame, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
You're good.
About 3 inches.
Right there.
3 inches to the bottom.
Anthony,
So,
I live in Missouri and he lives in Texas.
That would be a kick.
Yeah, the good-looking one lives in Missouri. Oh, that's sexy. That's so sexy.
So that's a kick for you. Now what we can do an offset. Now offsets have different multipliers. So the easiest one to remember by far would be 30 degrees. 30 degrees multiplier is 2. So your multiplier is 2. And that's going to be your obstruction. So
yeah.
I got to zoom out of this thing, man. God bless the camera guys on TV, man. Who would have known? They're on it.
That's why the people in front of the camera don't operate the back of the camera when they're doing this.
I feel like you're trying to give me some suggestions here. All right, so let's get an obstruction going.
I've got one of those working in my heart from eating bacon every morning.
Let's do this. I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this. This would be cool.
I like it. I'm just checking the seals on this cooler so that we have an accurate, least scientific thing here on YouTube. What we're doing tonight, just to test this out. I like it.
Cool.
I'm an artist. Look at this. Off of Vancouver.
I'm gonna mount this right here. And we're not just gonna pick a random height. We're not even gonna have this really clearly planned, which might not work in my favor, but that's okay. We're just gonna see how it goes. There we go. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna try to get into that connector there.
Always trying to put the pipe in the box, I swear to God.
That's right. All right, so what you're gonna do, you measure the floor to the bottom of this. Okay, we got 13 inches even. Cool. So this is where everybody does this differently. There's no right or wrong way to do this. How much conduit do you want before your conduit starts to bend away from where your box was, or how big is the actual obstruction you're trying to get? What kind of look do you want? Are you putting multiple conduits next to each other? What's going to be your, you're running parallel pipes and you want all uniform spacing. It just depends on what you're doing. Mm-hmm. We're just going to go with any random number because it doesn't make a difference on this. But what does here would be from this point here, the multiplier is 2. So that'd be 26.
It was 13. It was 13.
Right. Multiplier is 2.
Yep. So
26.
13 times 2 is 26.
Right. So 26 right there. And they'll teach you to always mark all the way around your whole conduit, because sometimes you get this on the floor, it'll be every which way, and it'll be too late to start marking all the way around your conduit. So I always like to mark all the way around my conduit when I'm teaching people. That's something that I say to do, but I don't always do myself. But good if you're learning.
Fred Smith, the two of us on camera together, that's what causes Peyronie's disease. Somebody's been watching one too many commercials. The bender, you gotta get the bender on camera, doggone it.
It should be on camera, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're only going to go 30 inches. Now I'm going to show you the trick to being really productive when you're bending these, because everybody is too careful with this. And this isn't something that needs a lot of precision. This is something that can be done really quick. You can make minor adjustments to it. And at the end of the day, nobody is going to know if you're a quarter inch off. One of the biggest things whenever I really saw this, once you start teaching people, that's when you really start to learn yourself, and you pick up different tricks and stuff, is whenever you start teaching people. And one of the things I realized is that a lot of apprentices overthink it, and they want to get it just right, and they want to get this bend this certain way. And in this video, you're going to learn, you just got to attack it and get it done. And at the end of the day, if it looks good, it's uniform, and nobody's going to know if you were an eighth of an inch off. No one's going to know if you meant to put this bend here, but it ended up here. Just get it done, unless you're working industrial and you're running rigid or whatever. Just get it done. That's the best advice that I can give somebody. There is a good thing in having pride in your work, and I was glad that my helper had pride in their work. But at the end of the day, if you're working construction, whatever you're doing, just get it done. All right, here we go. So you could bend this on the floor. This is half inch. This stuff is like just so easy to bend. All the way up to 1 inch, you can bend it pretty easily. Once you get to 1 1/4 inch, that's when you got to really put it on the floor. But yeah, here we go. So the trick with this, the way the bender is, once this is somewhat level, that's when you know you're at 30 degrees. Once this pipe goes level, but that means that you're pretty close.
Yeah.
We're actually going to turn it this way. There. We did it. Okay. More pressure here. You got pressure back here, you're going to have a bad time because it's going to kink. You want pressure just like you're using your foot, because if this was upside down, this is where the pressure would be, because you're pushing straight down in this area. So this is where you want all your pressure. You're going to push down like this. Now, what do you see? Does that look like we're on the 30 to you? Oh my goodness. Does that look like we're on the 30 to you?
No, it looks like you're about 20 and a half degrees.
Exactly. Now, this is the trick. We're actually at 30, because if you were to take this line, you want that line to run parallel with your pipe.
Right.
Right. So really, we're touching the 22, but we're running parallel with the 30.
100% accurate.
Yeah.
Antonell, if you want to get a pride sticker for your work truck, just ask your Makita rep for one.
Oh man. Demonetized.
I was telling people how to get a pride sticker. There's no demonetization there. They should thank me.
All right. So we're gonna go back as much as we can. Now
People
this is where. What's up?
People are gonna think I'm not serious about disliking Makita as much.
Yeah. All right. So we're about to do this offset. What do you think would happen if I was to bend this here now, like this? You want to roll this to where it's in line, so it looks like one straight piece of conduit. But you can see here, we do have a bend in it. So this is what you would call a dog leg, where you would have a little slight kick on one side versus the other. And that looks pretty straight to me. Now, I haven't worn glasses. I wore contacts whenever I was doing this all the time. And
you're straight.
Yeah. So there we go. And then we're going to go back to 30. This thing's going to be exactly 13 inches when we're done. So I'm going to bring it back here. Going to bend that down again. We're going to stop parallel with the 30. And man, do I hope this thing is 13 inches, because that would be terrible if it wasn't.
By the way, Philly Fixed is a Makita fan. That's why he always tries to poke fun at Rigid, because he's not quite comfortable coming out of the closet just yet, but he's working on it.
All right, Robert, be ready to kill the stream if this doesn't.
I can't kill the stream. I'm not even on camera right now. I'm just off here watching you do work.
So that's the other thing here, right? You want to deburr your conduit, and that's what this tool is for. So it's a reamer that goes onto a screwdriver,
Yep.
and then that's the notorious beating screwdriver that every electrician abuses. So
smack it.
This goes in there. This thing actually might have been from a live stream that I was cutting or something, man. It looks terrible. We're actually going to give it a trim real quick, because I don't think it's even going to go in the conduit or the
He just
connector.
wants to use that flex recip saw. Don't let him kid you.
Come on,
he
man.
set this up before.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Watch. Bam. That's it. Ready to go. Oh, I didn't show you on stream. Whoops. There you go. Cool. Easy.
Anthony, I'm with you. I'm excited for Rigid this year. They're doing some nice things. 29 new tools, I think they announced. So really looking forward to it. I want to get their new hammer drill.
All right. Moment of truth. How did we do? Now, we didn't do great. We have a little bit off. We need just a little bit more bend into it. So we're going to do that right now. Give it a little bit of an adjustment. Important to put your bender back the way you had it. Bend it down a little bit.
Not only do I know how to ream a hole, but I can ream a hole in a box like no one's business. You didn't think that one through, did you, Phil?
All right, let's see how this goes.
At least it's not 29 Jonathan Sherwood, you are 100%. Makita and their 29 grinders are ridiculous. Makita and DeWalt take advantage of marketing to convince people they have more power. An example, their 40 and 80 volt lines. Gross misuse of marketing. Yeah, well, they get away with it. That's why they can do it.
All right, cool. So looks like we're pretty good there.
Yeah.
One thing I'll do real quick. We're going to overbend it. Let's put it over a little bit like that with my knee.
You're supposed to do that just to make sure it kinks right.
Yeah. All right, now we're over. See how we're in the air down there?
Yeah.
Are we in the air?
Yes. We
Fantastic.
can see it. Yeah.
Okay. So this thing's kind of wobbly too. One of the tricks, don't worry about the bender anymore. At this point, you can put this thing on the floor and start pushing on it. That's another trick to get it done faster. You can give a little bit right here. Just push straight down. Do whatever you got to do for leverage. You can put your bender back on it. Bend out a little bit by going backwards the way you were. Like that.
Very nice.
And let's see how we did after we broke it.
Thanks, Jim, for being here. Appreciate you.
You got to put a little bit less into it. So whenever you're trying to fix the conduit, you want to make sure you don't dogleg it, like we talked about. So you want it to be straight, so it looks like one piece of pipe again.
Yeah.
Just like that. And just like that, we are better. Probably just gonna cheat at this point. Should have never broke it. There we go.
Like a pro.
There you go. Quick and easy. So you don't always have to put it back in your bender. And then just like you see here, that's where the whole how much conduit do you want before the box. If the obstruction was here that you were still trying to dodge, which isn't in frame because why would it be?
Because you wanted to show us your butt.
Yeah, how was it? All right.
Flat.
If the obstruction was here, if the obstruction was here, for example, do that, you might want to go further away from the drill there. Or you might want to go, it just depends on what you measured to where you want to start bending first.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do.
Anthony, what do I think of VCG? I'll be honest with you. I used to watch them a lot back in the day, especially when they were doing tool test raw, and I really enjoyed. I enjoyed what they were doing. Then they got away from it, and I stopped watching.
Yeah,
I stopped watching their stuff, and now that they're coming back to it, I find myself watching it again. Really, the only thing that they ever that of theirs that I truly enjoyed was the tool test raw stuff. The rest of it I just looked at as bohunk. But you know, it is what it is. I respect what they do. I respect their channel. I respect Vince a lot because he's built something impressive over there. But tool test raw is about the only thing I watch.
All right, let's do something fun. Let's do an offset.
All right.
So we're actually going to go 22 degrees. Maybe we can still do 30. I'm not sure exactly what. This is really tight. So it's pretty much going to be like a band and then a band and then a band and then a band. So it's really close. We might have to start down here before we start doing our band. Because what we're going to do, we're actually going to start on this side of the piece of wood, and we're going to finish on this side of the piece of wood.
Miller's Construction in the house. Welcome, Joseph. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for coming. How's it going?
Sorry, I was listening to you.
Oh no, you're good. I'm just trying to decide what.
Make it hard.
Make it hard. Okay. So this is. We're going to start on this piece of the wood. So instead of just rolling an offset, what we're going to do, we're going to come straight off of this piece. We're going to come down and we're going to wrap around up here. So we're going to start here. We're going to offset straight, and then we're going to wrap it around. And to do that, one of the tricks.
Robert G in the house. Glad to have you, Robert. Always nice to have a Robert on the channel. Now you got to start from the top. You're going to start from the bottom.
So that's where I'm trying to think how's the best way to explain this, because I don't want to confuse anybody. Quick thing, if you have a box.
Anthony, you're good. Talk all you want. People will start responding to you sooner or later. You're good, buddy.
If you have a box here.
Yep.
And you have a box way over here somewhere. One of the tricks that you can do.
Off to that area we can't see.
Yeah, you don't need to see it.
All right.
You can stick your conduit in this box here, like this.
Coincidentally, how he plays pool.
And this is where I would use my laser level. Actually, this is a practical use for laser level. So you stick this conduit in here like this, and you would pull your levels out, which I don't have on me. Pull your levels out, so you make sure it's level, right? And then the next thing you got to do, you got to make sure this pipe is what? The same distance off of this wall behind me. That way we make sure this pipe is coming straight off of this box. No questions about it, right?
Right.
So then that box is far down there. You'll be able to measure from that box to the face or the back of this pipe.
Yeah.
So there's different ways of getting your measurements and I've used this trick, I mean, all the time. Every day you got to do something where you've got a whole bunch of just pieces of conduit shooting across that are not going to anything just to get your measurements. You're shooting conduit across and you're trying to get a level. You're tying it up with string, you're tying it up with jet line. I've literally had stuff just hanging just to get the perfect measurement because, yeah, couplings are fine. Couplings are okay. But there's certain bands that you really don't want a coupling in. You might have a long 90 or something where you might have a long 90. Ball. Are we in frame? We are in frame.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Anthony,
Yeah,
you don't have to stop. You don't have to stop, buddy. It helps the channel. The more you guys talk, the better it is for the channel. It gets lets YouTube know that you guys are interacting with the live stream, and it helps push it out to more people, and it helps his channel.
Yeah, thanks for the support while we're talking about that. Yeah, so that's another trick, right? You're on a scissor lift, whatever. You don't have a level. You don't have a level platform. Level goes down there. You match that bubble. You're good to go. Wow, you have your bender on it. You can push it. You can pull it. Do whatever you got to do. I literally just run pipe on the rails of scissor lift, and never come down. Even on boom lifts, you would put it from one rail to the other rail on your boom lift, and you just be up there running pipe, man.
That's right. And by the way, Joe, he does not have a mini bender.
Well, a lot of people will cut this off and they'll just leave it on their ladder. But then you lose out on this thing. So you'd have to cut this here and then take it to a threader and then get your mini bender going. But I've never owned a 1/2-inch bender because a 3/4 works just fine. I just didn't want to look like a crazy person using a 3/4 bender on 1/2-inch pipe. But while we're on the subject, I'm going to show you what a 3/4 bender looks like. That's since 2008 and how well they hold up, what you expect to see them look like. And this is a bender boot. So this actually goes on the floor and it stops your bender from sliding around, and it works really good on TMP roofs. So if you've got torch down roofs that you don't want to do damage on or something, you can, it's good for that versus dagging that on a finished floor or whatever you're doing. These things only stay nice for so long.
If you put well.
So then, yeah, you got 3/4. It gets a little bit squirrelier because, of course, you got more play. So you got to be extra careful when you're bending. If not, you'll kink it. And the other thing would be that what's the other thing? Oh yeah, 6-inch deduct. No, yeah, 6. So 1/2 inch was 5, 3/4 is 6. So your 90s get different.
So Joe wants to know if it's better to feed the Romex through the pipe first and then bend.
No. No. Actually, if you're running Romex through the pipe, man, you did something wrong. I mean, it's okay for a couple of sleeving or whatever, but you really shouldn't be putting Romex in pipe. That's the whole point of Romex, is so you don't need pipes, so you're just wasting money. But yeah, funny joke though. Yeah. So we got a 90 here. What happens with these 90s, especially if this was bent in the direct center, is that this here has extra weight on it because it's got more material, and they tend to fall. So if you were to put a coupling here or a coupling here, you're always going to be fighting that weight, and this 90 is never gonna be great for you. So what you can do, if you're on a ceiling grid or something, you strap this to one of the ceiling wires with a K12 strap, which straps pipe to ceiling wires. Strap one here, and you got a good solid piece to measure off of, and you're not like, oh well, this piece is doing this, but this piece is doing that. You know what I mean? So that's 100%. Why I prefer to do things in one piece.
Thank you for the explanation, Anthony. We're glad he can help you. He can't read the comments right now, but yeah, I'm with you. He's teaching me, and I've done this stuff. So, Robert G with a $20 super sticker. Thank you very much, Robert G. We appreciate that very much.
Hey, thank you so much. All right, let's get rid of this. Someone asked the other day in the live stream, why would you use a recip on EMT? And this is what you use. Maybe not a one-handed recips for one-handed, bro. What 2013 from Milwaukee?
Yeah.
They're kind of everyone kind of started coming with at the same time, but I had Milwaukee whenever I first got my first recip, and fantastic addition. OSHA likes one-handed recips and one-handed bandsaws. So you go on certain job sites. I'm actually going to get more in frame here.
Hey, Joe wants to know if he can run Romex Outdoors.
No, you can't run Romex Outdoors. What you need is UF cable, which stands for underground feeder. And it looks like this.
He just happens to have this stuff laying around in his garage area.
This is type UF.
Yep.
Right there. UF. It's gray like this. And got extra plasticky stuff all around it. See it right there? And it's a pain to strip. I actually show you the trick to strip this right now, because a lot of people, what they want to do, they want to get their razor knife out like this. Yeah, it's a razor knife out, and they want to go down here down the middle like this, and then they start peeling this off. But this stuff here, I've got muscle memory. I'm also very, very strong, by the way, but I've got muscle memory, and you just get used to abusing your fingers and just pulling on this. So I can do this, and it's terrible. But the average person, like that's terrible to do, man. And what you try to do is you start trying to use your strippers here, and you start trying to strip off that extra sheathing, and you're really pulling on it. You can see there we kind of nicked up the nicked up the copper there.
Yep.
But it came off, and I'll show you the trick to this. And just no BS, right? You get your one side here, and you get one side here. And when you do a rough end, you leave some extra wire, so you can just pull this stuff like this. And then you got your white right there, and then you do it again. Just cut it flush, and you find that ground, and you just rip it, because I spent years struggling with this before I figured out that it was not worth my time. Even still, we still have the black surrounded inside that plastic there. And for that, then you can take your strippers if it's still surrounded, because you don't have to risk worrying about cutting your insulation. So you've already stripped it, pull that off, and now you're ready to make up your wires.
Very nice.
For your UF. This stuff sucks. Used to suck.
Shaka Gillis with the $2 super chat.
Hey,
thank you very much, Shaka. And you are right. Ryobi tools are trash.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna do something crazy. So
By the way, Joe likes the trick with the lineman's pliers, and Anthony said he's done security and electrical for years, and you just made that look like butter. So congratulations on that. People love it. So if anybody asks, I can say I got to see strippers and bent pipe.
Awesome.
By the way, all electricians at heart are nothing more than overgrown 14-year-old boys.
Yeah. We talk about it in the office all the time, just the stuff we have for names on stuff. I'm not even gonna tell you what the names are, they'll take you on the stream. But you can look up some common electrical terms. All right, so yeah, let's
Angela agrees.
Yeah. So while we're doing that, let's do something different. Let's do this. I'll show you this. So we're just going to put this anywhere in this table, anywhere right there. And I'm going to show you how to get this measurement to figure out. We're going to come right off the edge of this table. And what we're going to do, I'm actually going to, we're actually going to zip a mini strap. So this has a 1/2 inch offset on the back side there. The pipe is going to sit inside there. So we're actually going to, this table is made of 4x4s. And it's it's so heavy. I think it's about 400 pounds, like no joke. And I can't hurt this table. Don't worry. What happened to? Let's grab another one.
Wow. Anthony says Ryobi is starting to dominate the landscaping scene. That's because they're cheap, and if you lose them, you don't care.
Yeah. You can use any of them for hedge trimmers. You just start whacking away. There we go. So here we go. Ready? Pop that in there. That.
Thanks, Robert G, for showing up. There's a comment about how many years have you been married?
Oh, I have been married since 2010.
Wow, what a coincidence. That's the year I met my wife.
So let me know if you can't see this. I think you can. Tighten that up all the way. Just kind of up there like that, right?
Yep.
And what we're gonna do, well, we're not gonna touch this because that'd be cheating. So we're gonna actually do a rolling offset, because what you're gonna see if you were, I'm not moving this camera, but we are probably about 2 inches from being centered with this box, because this conduit is more this way. Yep. So what we're gonna do, we're actually gonna do like a rolling offset to where we're actually gonna make this reach over here. And if there was a box here, for example, which there is now, there was a box here, right? And we wanted to go from box to box, what we would do is we would take both of our levels, okay? And we would make sure that we are level and plumb. So you got level.
Juan Pratt's in the house.
Level here, like this, level, and plumb, meaning not too far away from the wall, perfectly.
Yeah. You know what you need?
Ways.
You need a plumb bob.
You need a plumb bob. Actually, I use plumb bobs all the time for underground, because when you're only measuring off a string, you really don't have anything else to use. So we are perfectly level and plumb. Let me get you a nice picture of that. It looks so nice.
A well-bent 9, Anthony, man after my own heart.
So back to what we were telling you about. We want to measure to the back of this EMT connector, to the back of this conduit, or we want to measure from the front of this EMT connector to the front of this connector, EMT conduit to the front of this connector. You don't want to measure back to front or middle to back, or whatever you're doing, you want to measure the same to the same. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take, because we got this perfectly level, we know where it's supposed to be. We're going to take this measurement here, and we're going to see that it's about 24 3/8 right there.
By the way, for the folks watching, this is why you end up paying an electrician so much for the work they do.
All right, so we would bend that, it would be an offset, and it would go straight in, right?
Yeah.
Here's the problem with that, right? Is that by the time we do a 30-degree offset, you're not going to have enough room to do what you're trying to do. It's
right.
It can't be done. So you would have to do what you call a back-to-back 90, or maybe you could roll a 45. Ideally, you wouldn't do this bend. I mean, it's just crazy to do this. So we're going to do a back-to-back 90, and hopefully we can pull it off, man, because it's been a minute. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take that 90 that we don't have. We're going to, let's just use 5 feet of pipe here. We're just going to bend a 90. We're going to run it across there, and then we're going to measure from the back of this 90 to our connector. A lot of people might try to do all this in one bend and try to figure out, oh, my deduct is going to be this, my this is going to be that. You can do that all you want. I'm showing you the faster way. You can absolutely do all the measurements and bend this thing perfectly. It's been a minute since I ran pipe. I'm not going to make a fool of myself.
So Anthony wants to know, do you have a trick for accounting for losses on bends? Because he has struggled with it, with those, got lazy, and bent extra to cut to precision.
So yeah, that's one thing where I never ever accounted for shrinkage. I know what you're talking about because you do lose some, but I did just what you did, and usually I would do, depending on what it was, if you're doing a little offset into it, or a quick little kick or something, you can pretty much figure 3/8 to half an inch shrinkage at the most. But no, I don't have an exact formula. Um, this is just quick nitty gritty getting it done bending here. So first thing we want to do here
Jamie
is
True in the house.
we want to make sure that we have enough bend here. So we want to go at least to here. That's going to be where our conduit is going to be, because our other strap is going to be there.
I know.
So we are going to go ahead.
I was going to say, I know the older pipe benders, like from when I was young, they used to have like markings on them so that you could tell how much shrinkage you were going to get when you were using it. But I don't think that they do that anymore.
Some of these, depending on the brand, you actually do get lines on your conduit. Like this here has lines on it. I've never used these lines ever in my life, but it's nice of them to put them there. Can you see those?
Yes.
So yeah, not something I've ever used.
If it's too short, just give it a blue pill. Jonathan Sherwood, how do you know about the blue pill? Are you trying to tell us something?
So we're going to bend a 90. We're going to make sure that it's long enough, because at the end of the day, as long as we got extra here, we can always cut this down. What we can't do is we can't add. So we're not going to try to get a measurement exactly from up here to down here, because it's a waste of time. All we got to do is just make sure that it's long enough, because we can always cut this. So that's one trick to doing conduit fast. Now, what we got here, we have roughly, I don't know, 10 inches there. And so our deduct is 6. So that means if I mark this at 4, got to make a 10-inch 90. That's pretty much how that works. But what we're going to do, we're actually going to bend this at 8 just to make sure we got extra, because more pipe means more leverage. And if you don't need to struggle, don't struggle. Just make it easy for yourself. So we're going to
That's also a dating trick.
Yeah.
Your poor wife listening to this, she's like, it's literally like listening to a bunch of 14-year-old boys talk.
I think she's used to it.
Well, she does live with an overgrown 14-year-old boy.
But
don't they all? Come on, you can do it. You can do it.
That looks pretty good. Yeah, we can look at that. So this is what I was talking about. You can always cut this off. Now, I already know from experience that this is probably a really bad example, because this curve here, this radius, is probably going to get in the way of that table. But you know what? We're just going to roll with it. So this is where you can cut this shorter, because you just hang this down lower and you get your measurement and you're done. There's no point in trying to get this precise, because if you're slightly off, you haven't done anything. You need a couple of them. It looks like crap. So this is we're gonna do it here. The next bend, though, is gonna be dead on.
Okay. Eric Geis in the house. Eric, I sent something to you today. I just want you to know it is in the mail, and you should be receiving it on Saturday.
So interestingly enough, I've actually got to put a level on this, because this pipe has to be in the air. I don't know if you can see that.
We can.
But we've got a stupid piece of wood here. So now to get this measurement properly and level, I've got to drop a level on there to make sure that everything is going to be fine. We want to make sure this pipe is still level up here. This one right there.
Yeah.
And then we're going to measure to this this connector up here that you can't see.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice. There we go.
Jonathan is he's apologizing to your wife for you.
Oh, yeah, I understand. This
We've
is
all
where, sorry, if you want to get this really good, you could take a piece of pipe straight down here and line it up with this piece of pipe, and then you would, we're going to kind of wing it here because I don't feel like cutting more pipe. So what we got to do, we need the back of this conduit to be here.
right.
And the way we're going to do that is making a mark. We're just going to kind of gauge it. Should be right about there. We're going to roll it, so it's going to get closer. So we're going to, it's going to be terrible. And we're going to go with that. Yeah. So right here is the back of our 90.
Yes.
So 2 ways you can do this. You can put this on the star because that's the back of your 90, but you need to turn this bender around and bend this backwards to do that, and it gets kind of crazy. I'm going to stick with the arrow because we know, because I should be able to bend it using this leverage back here because I got more leverage here than I do if I flip the conduit around.
Right.
Well, what we're going to do, we're going to go up 6 inches, and that'll make the back of this, should make the back of this 90. I hope.
Well, you're the professional here.
That's what should happen. That's we're gonna mark this 6 inches.
You're seeing it here live, folks.
Now we measured the only thing that could go wrong here, and that's where it goes back to measuring from one end of your conduit to the connector, from the left side of your connector to the right side of your pipe, to the left side of your pipe, or the right side of your connector to the right side of your pipe. That's where we measured from this side back here to get our measurement. So we may need to turn this around, but I lost a little bit of focus there. So we're going to bend it and see what happens.
All right.
Wish me luck. Oh, also, we don't want to dogleg it. So just like we did before, we're going to try to get that.
I just want you guys to know, in Italian homes, they do not throw spaghetti at the wall to see if it sticks. They'll pinch the end of the spaghetti. Look at him, the Hulk right there.
Oh, man, I'm nervous. Oh, okay, we overbent it a little bit, but that's okay. That is to be expected a little bit. So we're just going to stand on it. Overbent it was an understatement. We're going to just stand on that, push it straight down, and let's see what we got. Here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
He went for precision.
We see, we turned it around because we're exactly 6 inches too long. Yep, that's what we are. We are 6 inches. See it right there? 6 inches?
I see it. Well,
yeah.
You know, that's not how I measure 6 inches.
And yeah, that's where you put a coupling. So learn from my mistake because yeah, we went on the wrong side of that conduit. But yeah, it happens.
Anthony, you missed a bunch of secrets. You're gonna have to rewatch.
Got to cut it and learn how to put a coupling here. Yeah, bummer.
Oh well,
so,
things happen.
Let's see here. That was yeah, exactly. I did. I was thinking I needed to. What I needed to do was turn my bender the other way.
Yep.
and then bend it backwards, but my leverage would be upside down because you'd be pushing this on the floor to bend it up here like this.
Right. Right.
So that would be, we need to put that right.
Hey, Juan, no problem. I'm glad you got that sander. I hope it works
Right
out well for you. Good. I'm glad to hear it works.
So we can do something.
He already had the sauce on his spaghetti when he threw it against the wall.
We're going to roll
Happens
this
to the
offset.
best of us.
We're going to roll this offset here.
All right.
9.5 right there.
Gotcha.
Somewhere. 9.5. 9.5 from the back.
By the way, this little thing in the cooler is still running. It's been going for an hour now.
So if we hold this level, it's actually closer to 9. That's why you have a level here.
Right.
So multipliers 2, right? So what is that, 18?
Yes.
There you go. Only wasn't blind and I could see. So this measurement, all this measurement is good for is to make sure that we're out of the box enough to miss this table. That's
Right.
just where that is. Next measurement is going to be at 18. Right there.
Do you guys put the sauce on the spaghetti, or do you have it kind of a European style where it's you get a little bit of sauce in the middle of the spaghetti and then you have to sauce it yourself?
There's your offset there. And
That actually looks really good.
we're going to see how it goes. Oh, it's looking promising. See, that's what I was telling you about not having enough room to roll an offset because you're so close.
That is a serious question. So
What's that?
here, the spaghetti. So here in the U.S., a lot of people they just take their they just take their spaghetti and then they take their sauce, they dump it on they dump the sauce on the spaghetti, then they stir it or whatever. Very, very American when you do that. America.
I'm going to mark this. No, we didn't move it.
No worries. In the U.S., but in Europe, they give you the buttered noodles and they allow you to, like, they just give you a little bit of sauce in the middle and you just add the sauce yourself. So the sauce does, or the noodles don't become orange in Europe. I mean, they do, but only if you mix the heck out of them.
So that'd be a rolled offset there.
It looks good. It looks really, you are a master at this.
Especially the backpack 90s. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You're a master at bending pipe with your hands. I'm very impressed with your style and your technique.
No.
Congratulations.
We had a request from Tools of SoAlz here though to do a wraparound. So we're just gonna do that real quick. I ain't gonna measure it. We're just gonna eyeball it and see what we can do. We're gonna go 22 degrees here. We're gonna roll it 22 here. And then we're gonna lay it down flat like this. We're gonna make sure we didn't dog leg it, which we probably did, but that's okay. 22 there. I'm gonna go 22 there. And what you have there is a rolled wraparound offset. So if you're trying to come off of a beam or whatever you're trying to do, it's hard to even see what this thing is on camera without like really
being
getting over the top of it. Yeah.
It looks good though.
But it is a well, that's how you know you did a good job whenever it looks that's great actually. So you can see that this, I mean, it's fully in line, so you can't hardly tell that it's even bent because it's actually bent in a really crazy way. But what this would do, this would get you off of the beam in a certain direction and then possibly rolling underneath the beam.
Yeah.
But the best way to show you would be if I put it up to a piece of wood and I show you. So this would be
I mean, if only you had a piece of wood sticking straight up in the air that would.
Well, it's too short. It's too. I mean, maybe. Would that do it? So yeah, that would be flush with the wood, and then no, that's not going to do it. The wood's too short.
Anthony, I want you to make things look harder. He wants your pipe clay to look harder.
So what you see here, we're pretty darn level actually. For the, yeah, man, we're level. What you have here is
short wood. And by the way, Eric, I just sauce the heck out of everything. I'll be honest with you.
Kind of a mean spaghetti conversation here.
Yeah.
So we're right about 2 inches, and we're parallel all the way back there. That's 2 inches, and then you see here that we are about 1.5 inches completely level.
Now these are measurements he's a little more used to playing with.
You enjoyed yourself with that one.
I sure did. Hammer Heater is here. He said, I remember how this channel started, and now you are teaching people.
Yeah.
It's good.
How you doing? Thanks for coming by.
Very informative tonight.
All right. Well, my goal was about 45 minutes. How about you open up your what you got in your ice box there?
Oh, you want me to open my box after you've been playing with pipe? I'm not even on the screen, so it doesn't matter what I do. Jeez.
Yeah, my wife might have fallen asleep.
She was highlighting comments here. If you say, "Oh, there I am,"
wow.
I'm sorry to do this to you people, but that's my real face. Let's take a look and see. You know, this thing has been running the entire time, so it's been over an hour that we've had this. By the way, the tough built. What I like about this, I really, really like this one. So let's get in here. And then I don't even use it. That's the best part. You could tell I'm a tool guy. It's got to be power tools or nothing, man.
That's it.
But as I was playing with it, then I found the end that I wanted to. So just take a look. You guys have seen it's been sitting here this entire time. It's been running. It is still running. Let me just shut it off. There it is. It is off. It went into the box at 85 degrees, I think it was. It's 94 degrees. So it actually made it hotter. So does the Arctic air, is it the thing for your neck to keep you cool in the summer? Is it worth it? Well, our experts agree. Probably save your money on that as seen on TV, bought at Walmart piece of crap.
Oh my goodness, man. That's
But look, I'm not joking. You guys can see it still says 94 degrees on it. And it started out at 85 right there.
wow. That's almost as good as my back-to-back 90.
I think I'd take the Arctic Air over the back-to-back.
Oh man, you're hurting my feelings. Hurt my
You hurt
feelings.
my eyeballs.
So I was trying to redeem myself. Yeah, that was terrible. What I did here, I actually just did one really quick. Just see if I can do one here. It's been, I don't know, man. It's been 7 years since I did a backpack 90. So I actually made a mark here. If you watch this channel, you know I'm not lying. There's a mark here. I guess I can show you. And I put it right here on this mark. And this still hasn't moved. You can see it hasn't moved because it's still freaking attached there.
Yeah.
It's unlevel here. By the time we get this out of here, it should go right in there. So what you would do for this back-to-back 90 is
By the way, Hammer, I refer to him as the flex guy. On his, he and I speak every day. He and I speak every day. I call him the flex guy. So you're not being disrespectful, in the very least, saying that about him. Yes, Antonell, that Arctic air is kind of like buying a fridge with no compressor.
yeah.
And my mouth is minty fresh. So, sounds like some frisky night maneuver back in the 90s. Back to back 90s. Yes.
Yeah, so there you go.
How would I react if you refer to me as the rigid guy? I'd react like you're one of my subscribers. You know that I am the rigid. When it comes to rigid on YouTube, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me a bit.
Yeah. So the star, that's the back of your 90.
Yep.
You actually got to turn this bender around, so you would actually use it backwards. If that makes any sense.
Yes.
So you would flip it like Oh, okay. So
he's just not very gentle with those long, hard things.
So what we ended up doing, we actually, you would think that we bent this up like this, but we actually, we made our mark here. So this 90 was going across the table like this. And then I made a mark here where the back of this 90 was. And then we actually, you can see here, we didn't, see if I can find it here. That's the star there. So that was where that mark was. And then instead of bending up this way, we turn the bender around and we put it on the star and we bend. And then that makes that the back of your pipe for a back-to-back.
Very nice.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, your cooler thing, man, that's it was in ice, right? You put it in a cooler? It wasn't in ice. It was
no ice. It was just a
in the cooler. Yeah.
I sealed it so that there was no air escaping, because I didn't want it to lose anything. I literally wanted to see if this thing would work well, and I had it on the high setting. I mean, I could hear it through my mic the entire time. Had it on the high setting, and I would tell people not to waste their money. Save the $30, $40 and just buy an air conditioner for your house.
Yeah, and no ice was in that cooler.
No.
Make sure everybody knows that.
All I did was set it back here. It was just an empty cooler.
Just stagnant air.
Just stagnant air. It did have a small camera that doesn't build up heat because it doesn't vent. And if it doesn't, it wouldn't bother anything. But yeah, it's
so pretty much just from having HVAC nerd knowledge. Your fresh air, your air cycles, just that fan, the air around you right now is getting stagnant and it heats up. So if you got an electric device in a box, it's possible that you're just recycling that air. It probably would get warmer.
Well, I can tell you what, I can redo it, and I'll just cut a hole out of the top of this that holds the camera. so that I have a clear view, because it's just a small.
Yeah.
By the way, camera was $10 at Ace Hardware, by the way. But I could just aim it right at the, like right in the cup holder here, and aim it directly at the thermostat or thermometer that's in there. I'll redo it. I want to be fair to a product before I tell you not to buy it. Although I'm probably going to still stand by that. Don't buy it.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
You bought that one yourself?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. The only time that and when I'm on someone else's channel, I will never bring a product that has been sent to me to test out. But I will assure you that if I get a product that doesn't live up to my lofty expectations, it may get chainsawed. I'm just saying. I've done it before, and I did it on a live stream, as a matter of fact, where I just took a chainsaw to a tool that was not quite good enough.
Right. So you got a giveaway coming up, don't you?
I do. If I get 5,000 subscribers this month, I am going to give away one of two DeWalt Power Stack kits. I've got the Atomic, and I believe I've got the 20-volt brushless.
Oh man,
this is the one I would go for, by the way, because it's got the 840 with it. But that's just me.
So the 840 is more powerful than the 850 and a little bit less wide. So it's a little bit longer, but their best impact are now, right?
Yeah, I would say now the 845 comes out later in the year, which it's the 840, and it's just going to have a speed selector with it. So not a whole lot of difference between the two. And when you can get the 840 for $99, and I suspect that when the 845 comes out, it's going to be a little closer to that 200 range. This is the only speed selector I've ever used on a tool. So I would just tell people to save money, buy the 840, or if you're one of 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, get a chance to win it on my channel.
There you go.
By the way, I learned a lot watching you tonight. I got to congratulate you on that. I know electric work. The only excitement you ever get in electric work is when something goes wrong. So, we had a lot of good people here watching tonight, and we thank you all for being here, for showing up and supporting Robert.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
From the neck is not the most effective location for this type of cooling. However, I'm sure it would feel amazing, more of a sensory device than an actual cooling device. But I mean, people buy placebos, and that's what this is. I would suspect that while loud, I would suspect that this is a little more. Oh my God. It's made for little people. I can tell you that much. Jesus. But I could tell you it's probably nothing more than a placebo.
Nice. Well, that's about all I got. You got anything?
No. We'll see you guys next time.
All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.
And just hit end broadcast.